response to the points being made by leftist TikTokers and Redditors to say you were letting AOC and Bernie off easy regarding Palestine? That TikTokers are fed. They ramped up anti-Islam posting after the giant Detroit rally. Who's the Fed? I don't even know which TikToker you guys are talking about. He looks like a fucking cop. This guy's a fucking Fed, really? What did he say?
If you're using your platform to funnel support towards the Democratic Party rather than telling them to join their own socialist party, you're a bad socialist.
Here's the thing, okay? If this motherfucker was an elected representative that's able to bring 32,000 people, 34,000 people to come listen to him talk about how healthcare is a human right, you know, I'd be glazing him too, all right? And until you have political motion like that and broad acceptance like that, you ain't shit. I'm sorry. You're just going to fucking sit in your car and chirp, and that's it. And if that's the overall output, you know, you're not going to get anywhere. I'm trying to do something, okay? You can be more pure than me.
Interviewing those genociders really got you feeling yourself, huh? Talking about I'm not doing nothing but chirp in my car. You're trying to do something. You're a streamer. A glorified fundraiser. A living billboard. Come correct. The reason why your fans are so quick to call me a Fed while you give gifts to them is because they've never seen a principled socialist in their life. You should do better by them, and I'm going to teach you how.
By the way, like, AOC, I think, gets more heat, surprisingly enough. Well, not so surprisingly, but, like, she literally is more pro-Palestine than Bernie is, okay? Ocasio-Cortez defends accusing Israel of genocide and floor speech. And Bernie Sanders' position. He's advocated in the Senate, you can say it's just symbolic, but he has straightforwardly advocated for a denial of weapons transfers, right, to Israel. Now, we can go over the language of that where he'll say, like, offensive weapons, but not defensive weapons, blah, 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 okay? That is currently, as it stands, minutia. Why? Because every other fucking congressperson, with the exception of like 17 senators that signed off on that bill, are literally going, what are you, insane? We're going to deny Israel $7 trillion worth of weapons?
What I love about this part of the video is you contradict yourself twice. The first in recognizing that their actions are completely symbolic, but still deciding to use these things as examples. AOC calling it a genocide in a speech, words contradicts her actions, like voting to condemn Hamas and equating the denial of Israel's right to exist with anti-Semitism. She also just recently supported that bogus anti-Semitism resolution, which further criminalized the Free Palestine movement. Bernie Sanders voting against sending offensive weapons, keywords you want to call semantics, does not stop his constant advocacy for the occupation, nor does it set any precedent against the regime. So both oppose Palestinian resistance, both support the Israeli occupation. So what is even the point in power scaling who's more pro-Palestinian, whatever that means? Especially because the second time you contradict yourself during your ramblings is admitting that they are a drop in the bucket. Arguing that these two and a handful of others are the only thing that's standing in the state's way of supplying offensive weapons to Israel rather than defensive weapons, like that makes a difference to the unwavering support of the occupation, is idiotic. Democrats were giving billions to Israel for the Iron Dome when they were in power. What are they supposed to do now? What can they do now? Are they supposed to be rallying the other Zionist politicians? Because that's what you're arguing and then some.
If we were to be able to get AOC and Bernie Sanders to actively rail against, with all the broad public momentum that they have, actively rail against the current administration's anti-Palestinian action.
So, push Bernie Sanders left. Push AOC left. Hold the Democrats accountable. Your plan to build socialism in the United States is to ask the Democrats who oppose it nicely. And you talking about you're trying to do something. You don't know how to build socialism outside of voting for progressive capitalist candidates, and that's because you're a pretender. You're not outside for real.
That's why people being like, dude, you don't understand. Like, these guys are genocidal monsters. Like, their entire job is to funnel you back into the Democratic Party. Like, first of all, my job is not that, okay? If there is a Democratic Party worth funneling into, I'll be its most loyal soldier. You'll know. The signs will be there, okay? I want to be regime-pilled. I want to be its most loyal servant. I want to be the propaganda minister. Give me something to do propaganda for.
That sounds like a self-aware reactionary to me. Not no socialist. And ending the video with, leftists are so mean with their purity politics. This is kind of the only socialist space where you can still make a mistake. Please get over yourself. That is such a cop-out when someone's pointing out you're not walking it like you talk it. And very telling to my point, whether you want to call it purity politics or not, there's a difference between a leftist who brings up healthcare when we're talking socialism and a socialist who brings up people's labor being exploited. There's a difference between a leftist talking about the oligarchy and a socialist talking about the ruling class. And don't just do Fed work for free. Put a name on it. What socialist organization do you know that's not educating its members up out of capitalist indoctrination as well as the community it's a part of? And that's where y'all leftists will go silent because your movement only exists online. And the hostility you're referring to is socialists spanking arrogant leftists like yourself who don't care to educate themselves on the issue beyond virtue signaling.
There's hella organizers in here that would look at this and go, you're behaving in a wrecker, you're doing wrecker behavior. This is not like instilling solidarity at all.
Leftists love to act like they have a movement worth infiltrating. You actually have to be part of a movement for me to be a wrecker. And that's why it's good to just go by the book sometimes, because you don't even realize you're a mark. A sucker being used by the establishment to delay the inevitable. To sap all radical potential and effort from working class people. Simply wanting things to be better does not make us the same politically when there is a very clear difference between a Bernie bro socialist who wants reform and an actual socialist who wants revolution.